Creality has released a brand new slicer update, Creality Print 6.2. What can you expect and also how to use it right here on Zachary 3D Prints. Hey, Zach here and welcome to this video. Yeah, Creality Print 6.2. I remember the first slicer from Creality coming out, which was a hassle or trouble into getting into the slicer from Creality. But now they are really working on the road, working to make it better for beginner users or even the more advanced users using this slicer. I have to say that, I'm a user of Orca Slicer, and basically for all my 3D printers, I'm using Orca Slicer where I can. Sometimes it's not possible, and I fully understand. If you are brand new and you just started with 3D printer and Creality is your first 3D printer that you bought, well, hey, congratulations and welcome into the world of 3D printing. And you're wondering how to start with slicing and how to add your 3D printer to this slicer. Well, I'm going to show you all the ins and outs, so let's dive right in. Well, first things first, how to get Creality Print downloaded. Well, go to the link in the description of this video. There I have a link for you where you can get into the site where you can download the latest update from Creality Print. If you are watching this video a few months later, it can be that you have a brand new slicer from Creality Print. Currently, this is 6.2, so I'll show you how to get it. If you are very familiar with downloading software, I think these steps are very simple and straightforward. If you have a Windows computer, then this is your link. If you are using a Mac with an Apple chip, then this is your link. And here you have also for the Mac Intel chip, you have also a link. And then also for Linux users, they thought about it as well. They have also Creality Print 6.2 for Linux users. How convenient of Creality to do this. Well, once you click on the link, you will get a dialog where to store it to. Usually it's your download folder. Maybe you have a special folder for that. I don't know. But you can just click on it here, the link, and then you will get this dialog and here downloads. And then you have here the latest slicer from Creality Print. Once that is done, you will get a little notification. Click on it and follow each step from the installation process. After that, the fun begins. If you have already installed Creality Print in the past because you already have one of those amazing 3D printers from Creality, well, if you already pre-selected several 3D printers, they will be automatically imported into the latest version of Creality Print. Well, in my case, we have the Creality Ender 3 with a 0.4 nozzle. We have the Creality Ender 3 V3KA. I used to have that, but one of my friends, a regular on the stream, he has now the KA. But I have also the Creality V3 Plus 0.4 and also the K1 with a 0.4 nozzle. Always make sure that if you are going to select a 3D printer, and especially if you're brand new to 3D printing and Creality is your first machine, well, how to add them? Well, we are going to click on add or remove the 3D printer. For the ones that already have a 3D printer from Creality, these steps are you have to be very careful because the machines that you currently have are already selected. So make sure not to deselect it because you think you selected by accident. No problem. I've got here the Creality K1. It's already selected. It's also having the build plate volume, so 220 by 220 by 250 with a 0.4 millimeter nozzle. You have here also a plus sign, so you can add the 0.4, 0.6 or 0.8 millimeter. But all the 3D printers from Creality that you are buying coming standard with a 0.4 millimeter nozzle. But if for some reason you end up having a 0.6 millimeter nozzle, make sure to select the right printer. Well, I can select another printer that I don't have, but this is a tutorial. I'm going to show you all the steps how to set everything up. So just pretend to edit the Creality K1. You can also go for the K1 Max or the K1C, but there are also some other 3D printers in the fleet of Creality. They have also other brands as well, but I will stick for this tutorial for the Creality 3D printers. Now we have the Ender series. Also there I have one. But for example, if you bought the Ender 5 Max, a bigger size, it's a 400 times 400 times 400 millimeter. It's a large 3D printer, and it has also some network connectivity. So you can select this one, and let's do that for this tutorial. We are going to click on it. And as you can see, I don't see here the plus sign. So meaning this 3D printer has only a 0.4 millimeter nozzle. There are some other machines as well, new ones, but also the older ones, the S1 Pro. I used to have one of those, but also that one I gave away to a good friend of the channel. So there are many other ones. Also a normal Creality Ender 3, the OG Creality Ender 3s, which is amazing. We have the CR series, or if you one of those guys that bought a Creality High, then this is the one to choose from. Also here we have the plus sign, and it is going up to 0.8 millimeter nozzle. So if you are printing really thick layers, once everything is selected, if you have one, you selected one. If you have multiple, then make sure to have select the right one. So we are going to click on confirm, and let's pretend, okay, this is the Ender 5 Max, which I don't have. Maybe I wish I would have, but I don't. Then we have a build plate type. We have an epoxy resin plate. I don't know which kind of plates come standard with the Creality Ender 5 Max, but we leave it here. But you can also go for the smooth PEI high temp plate or the textured PEI. Let's go for the textured PEI plate. Once that is done, make sure that, yeah, this is where I'm going to shoot myself in the foot. So we are going to select the K1. Standard, those machines are connected with Ethernet. So how to do that? We are going to click on the Wi-Fi symbol, device list, add printer. Let's do that. Plus scan add. So this is the part where I'm going to say, oopsie. I don't know how it is possible, but usually you need to go to Creality Cloud, make an account there, and bind your Creality 3D printer. If it is a network printer, connect it with or bind it with Creality Cloud. You can also add it manually. I don't know why it is not in here. It used to be in here, but okay. So I'm going to click on add manually, and then you have to select here an IP address. Once that is done, we are going to click on OK. And here we see here the K1. This is exactly the one that I have. It's idle. That's completely true. I don't see here anything to save. So details. So this is my machine. And if you can see it right here, we have also the AI camera that didn't come standard with it. And my latest print was a chicken jockey from the Minecraft movie. It's, yeah, it's amazing. It's fun. Yeah, so this is my device. So let's go back into the prepare and let's add a model to start with. There are multiple ways to add a model. If you don't have any library or downloaded models already to print on your 3D printer, you can right click and add testing primitive, and we can select here a 3D Banshee. Nowadays, slicers come standard with some test prints already built in, which is amazing and very cool. So you can start printing without even having a huge library of 3D prints. Right mouse button, keep it there or hold it, and then you can rotate, you can pan it up and down like this. You can also zoom using the scroll wheel. Here we have a slider, and now you're wondering, what is this for? Well, if you are going to play with it, you see how the model looks like for the slicer perspective. It's just a shell, basically. Now, you are not interested into that. It's something that I do like to talk about. Well, not about shells. Okay, but anyways. So if you have this model and you only see it when you have a model selected, we have here a whole range of cool tools to use. I have only one single color, and that single color can be anything. It can be PLA, it can be PEGI, it can be ABS. It doesn't really matter, but the K1 is capable of printing various type of materials. So here we have add. So just imagine that I don't have a model here on the build plate. How is that possible? I just clicked it on delete. That's also something that you can do. Now, if you have a model, you can also click the right mouse button and then fill the bed with copies. Well, if you're wondering how many copies you can put on a build plate for the K1, well, confirm. You can print in total 18 Banshees. I see some space here as well. So I don't know why it is doing what it does, but hey, that's cool. So we go back to one Banshee. Hopla. Now, for example, if you have some cool models, You can print them as well. I'm going to select one. Here we are already there. I have a special folder with all models. Let's go for Waxter. Waxter has a lot of cool models. Let's go for some minis. Eddie Mudson. If you don't know who the guy is, he has a single model, single color. So if you don't know this dude, Stranger Things. Anyways, cool figurine. Let's slice this, or let's select the model and let's get over all of the tools right over here. Now here we can add another build plate. I think for the purpose of this tutorial, I won't go over it, but basically if you are having multiple parts for a huge project, I don't know where you are standing with your 3D printing experience, but you can add multiple build plates to, slice all of the parts for your big project. Here we have move. If you select that, you can move in the different kind of directions in the green, red or blue direction. You can see here also red stands for the x-axis, y stands for the y-axis, and the z stands for the height. Every model comes standard on the build plate. So if, for example, I have selected on move and I'm going to move it upwards, see what it is going to do. It's just popping back to the build plate, making sure that you don't get a failed first layer, because if the print is just hovering right above the build plate where you think it touches the build plate and it doesn't, you are in for a bad day. Then we have the rotate function. You can turn it into the 3 axis, but it is already oriented in the right direction. We can also do the auto orient. It does do it automatically. Minimize support volume. That is a possibility, but I won't use this because I've got a nice support setting that you can also use, and it's cool. Anyways, we have here also arrange all objects. So if you have your build plate filled with different kind of models, just like with the Banshees, you auto select it and then it is going to arrange it in the right spot. So basically putting everything in the center and close by, and make sure that everything is within a short traveling distance, because that is also saving you a lot of time. Then we have here lay on face. If I'm going to select it, it finds all the sweet spots how to place the model, and if you are selecting the white area, it's going to place it on that surface. Then we have here some other ones. These are not selected, split into multiple objects. We don't need that. We can also scale here. It's always selected on uniform scaling. So if you are selecting it for being a little bit higher than 9 centimeters or 91 millimeters, as we always say it in the 3D printing world, you can also go higher, like maximum build volume, maximum height of your 3D printer. Never go over it, because you get a flat head and you don't want to have a flat head. You don't want to look into somebody's infill. Let's say it like that. Then we can also have some other, I don't know why it has this, but you can also using a hollowing, a drill, and a cut. The cut is basically cutting the model into smaller parts. So if you are going to print a huge mini, but it doesn't fit on the build plate, you can cut it into smaller sections, and using some dowels in order to assemble them back together if it is needed. So sometimes it can be very helpful. I have made a video about that using Orca Slicer to do that, but in the end, start small and then end up printing huge models in the end. How cool would that be? Then we have here also a measuring tool. If you want to know a certain distance between 2 points, this is how it works. You click on it and then you see a little dot. If you want to know how big the tongue from this Eddie is, well, from here till here, it's 6.572 millimeters. So he doesn't have a big tongue, if you would want to know. Click on it to deselect it. Then we have here also supports painting. Why would we do that? Because we want to have supports in this specific area, enable supports. It's very cool that they have it right in here, because sometimes you want to paint supports, but they are not visible because they are not selected. Now here it has enable supports. I usually use 3 supports, auto, and here we have a circle, sphere, fill, and gap fill. On overhangs only can also be selected. Seam painting, that is basically the start and end point of the nozzle for that layer. And sometimes, and after slicing, you will see a white line somewhere. That is where the seam is going to be. Sometimes you don't want to have it on a nice surface. Sometimes you want to just hide it as far as possible. Emboss, you can put some text on it like, hey, this is a little gift, or you want to put some other text on there as well. For example, if you want to recognize, oh yeah, this is a model from Wexter. This is Eddie Mudson from Stranger Things. You can put the text on there as well. You can do an embossed text, or you can do a little bit different. I don't know if you want to know it. Let me know in the comments if you want to deep dive more into the text on a model. For this tutorial, I'm not going to use it. I'm just highlighting it, what the possibilities are. Now, well, if I deselect it, the text will be still here. You can do Control Z to remove it, and then it's all gone. And then we have here also assembly view. For this purpose video, it's not needed, but if you are going to do multicolor printing or multi-material printing, then the assembly view would be quite handy. Now we have also on the right hand side, we have different kind of tools as well. First of all, the filament, we have here different kind of filaments. Creality is Creality. They have a lot of filaments in there, but basically the generic and Creality. They don't have any other ones. I did make a video about it, about the previous Creality print version, where I added a Polymaker filament into the slicer. For some reason, it didn't took the data from the older version into the new version. I wish they did, but they don't. Well, I'm going to use the standard. I'm going to load up some generic PLA. So let's select that generic PLA. The temperature, because this is a higher speed 3D printer, the temperatures are higher as well. The build plate temperature is 50 degrees. I think that would be a normal thing. And then we have here for the quality, layer height, line width, seam. That's something that I already mentioned before. Precision. I mean, basically no ironing, but here we have a little example. If you are going to sit on it, usually it shows what it does. Well, here it doesn't show, but here, for example, we have here the strength. Yeah, so if you click on it, it shows exactly how and what in the Creality wiki. So if you want to deep dive for yourself on a Sunday morning or a Sunday afternoon or somewhere in the evening during the week, you can see all the things even more deeper highlighted in a special Creality wiki. Creality, it's a great thing that you did do something like that, explaining more about the stuff. So here, for example, top shell thickness is 0.8, and it shows in the right hand corner with the icon exactly what it does. We have infill grid pattern. You can see if I'm going to select it here, you can see exactly how it would look like. I think gyroid does look amazing. You will see here that the naming will be a little bit different. It will be yellow. You have also a red, turn back arrow. So if you click on it, it will go back into the original version. So let's keep it on gyroid. We have here some other things. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. Then we have here also speed. I think that the standard speed is all okay. I'm not going to mess with this, but you can play with it. You can see here also that this strength here is yellow. So that means wherever in the standard profile, because this is 0.2 profile that I have selected. If you want to go for something else, you have the possibility to do that, but I will leave it as it is. But you can see here a little asterisk before the name. So that means something within this profile has been changed. Here, don't support bridges, independent support layer height. We are here at the support section. So what I usually do, something that you don't need to do, but you can do it. Enable supports. Support type is going to be 3 supports. Style, I'm always going for the organic version. And then the threshold angle. So flat surface, vertical line, and then everything that comes in an angle will be supported. And I will select on the build plate only. So back in the early days of 3D printing, you had supports needed here at the crotch section. And now this one has a little base plate. So that means that all these supports were printed right here. And it was always visible on the base when supports were printed on there. Even though it was tiny, it was a big pain in the behind in order to get that support away. Yeah, I wasn't really keen on that, but it was what it is. And now you can get some amazing print results without touching the model itself. Multifilament, well, I'm printing on my K1, which doesn't have the CFS unit. It's what it is, but it's okay. And then we have here others. And here, skirt, you can see exactly what the skirt does. It are usually lines around the model, but not touching the model itself. Brim, this is touching the model. Sometimes it is needed if you are printing something with a very tiny surface touching the build plate. A brim is an added value in order to get a successful print, because you don't want to have something that is popping off the build plate while printing. I'm happy with the result here, slicing the plate. It takes some time. After a while, it's done and it's sliced. So, like mentioned, here are the 3 supports. Like mentioned, not touching the base of the model, but touching the build plate itself. And then growing all the way in order to touch the model where the supports were needed. Now, once that is done, I can send the print. But before I'm going to do that, I'm going to make sure that I have loaded up the right sort of filament. I will be right back. So all is set. I have changed it into Polymaker PLA Polyterra. It's a gray filament. So let's send print. So here we get some more information we didn't see in the previous version. Printing will be done using spool holder colors. So what does that mean? So like mentioned, there are versions of the K1 and other 3D printers from Creality that have the option to print in multiple colors. Well, in my case, it's just gray filament from the spool holder, sort of. Well, if you see it, I have the Space Pi X4, so it's a little bit different, but still it's a single color that I'm going to use. PLA, and I'm going to say start print. Please make sure that there is no models on the printing platform, otherwise it will cause fatal damage to the device after setup. So, okay, so now it's going to upload the model, and once that is done, the printer is going to do the, startup sequence and starting to print. So let the fun begin, and I will show you the model afterwards. So after 1.5 hour printing on the Creality K1, Eddie is printed and it is looking amazing. This model is from Waxter. I will post the link in the description where you can get also amazing models from this amazing designer. So 1.5 hour using Creality Print, printed on the K1. So yeah, question, what are you going to print using Creality Print with one of your Creality 3D printers? Let me know in the comments. Well, if you made it this far in this video and you are not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button, like this video, and I will see you in the next one. Peace. Bye-bye.